They don't pay us to think. They pay us to know. We know we can beat them. There's no excuses why we shouldn't. Win the game, period. W's on 3, man. Let's go. W on 3. 1, 2, 3. W.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report Live. So, I've been having technical difficulties. I may still be having technical difficulties. I need you guys to tell me how bad it is on the other side. I can't tell on my end of things. Am I buffering? Am I slowing down? Is there any interruptions? Is the audio muffled? Give me some feedback because I can't tell on my end, but I know I had to turn my kilobytes per second and my buffering size and speed all the way down just to get this thing to work. I think I need a new modem. Basically, that's the final conclusion that I've come to. If it's not the modem, I don't know what the hell the problem is. In any event, you guys give me a quick little update as to what's going on so I know. Because if it's terrible, I'm just going to stop. There's no need in us sitting here chopping it up for an hour and then I go back to the playback and it's horrendous. It's not enjoyable for you. It's not enjoyable for those who don't catch it live and want to catch it on playback. And, you know, I'm not about putting out garbage products. So I need you guys to give me the reels on what's going on. I don't know what's going on and how it sounds and what it looks like. So you guys just give me a thumbs up. If y'all give me the thumbs up, we're going to rock and roll. I apologize for the last couple of days and the delays, but this is the problem that I've been encountering over the last couple of days trying to go live. And I've been going through all of the different scenarios and all of the different things that could potentially be the problem. So I need you guys to just give me a thumbs up. I need everybody that's watching right now to give me the thumbs up that everything's legit and we can rock and roll, and then we'll go from there. So before we get to your comments, y'all give me the thumbs up. I need it. I need it for my sanity. Okay, for me to be at ease and just chop it up like normal, I need y'all to tell me everything's A-okay. So let me have it. Let me know what's good. So hopefully everything is legit. All right, great. I got one person telling me that everything sounds good. Can I get another telling me that everything sounds good? If I can get about 2 or 3 more thumbs up, then we gonna roll, man. Again, I don't want to hold you guys up. And okay, so I got another thumbs up. I need one more. Give me one more. Give me one more thumbs up. That's 2 thumbs up. Give me one more. And we can rock and roll. All right, let's roll. Appreciate y'all, man. Good looking out. All right, so before we get started, I got a new site for those of you who don't know, LouieTNetwork.net. Check out the site. I'm going to be updating the site just about every day, trying to stay current on all of the NFL events. But more specifically, if you're a Redskins fan and all you care about are the Redskins, I've carved out a specific page for the Redskins, and I've even created a forum for the Redskins called Talking Skins, as you can see down below. That's the logo. It's a forum created by me and other Redskin fans. Essentially, I started the conversation. There are a couple of comments down there, and you guys hit the ground running. If you got a comment, if you got a thread that you want to start, you got a post you want to start the conversation. All right, and after I'm done tonight, I'm gonna go up there. There are a couple of comments left by other viewers, and I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna chop it up. So let's get that conversation going, man. Because even when I'm not doing a video, we can still be having Redskin conversation on the site, LouieTNetwork.net, and through the Talking Skins forum and chat room, we can be chopping it up, talking skins 24/7. So you guys check out the site if you haven't already done so. go ahead and sign up and subscribe to the site. Sign up to the channel, Louie T Network, if you haven't already done so. I've got a podcast that I'm doing as well, Louie T Network, that's already up and ready and available on Apple Podcast, on Stitcher, and also on the site, louietnetwork.net. So again, a lot of things going on here on the channel. Want you guys to be a part of it, so check all of those things out. That being said, let's get straight to your comments. And let's talk about the Redskins. And free agency is coming up. There are a lot of rumors, as it always is this time of the year, surrounding not just the Redskins, but every team in the league and all these free agents and different players. And so let's talk about some of the things that the Redskins need to address this free agency period. Obviously, the biggest news leaving the Redskins building has been that of Kirk Cousins. He's been the hottest topic around not just the Redskins, but the entire National Football League. Anytime you go on any NFL site, a lot of the discussion is on Kirk Cousins. He's usually front page material. And so I'm kind of glad that that whole situation is about to be resolved come next week. He's going to find a new destination, most likely Minnesota. It sounds like Minnesota's already won the race. But don't count out the Jets quite yet. But I think it's pretty much Minnesota, and it's a done deal. But at this point, we've got our quarterback. The Redskins will have a press conference to announce the trading of Kendall Fuller and the third-round pick and the receiving of Alex Smith to the organization. They'll probably have a huge press conference, put the 3 Super Bowl trophies up on the table. You know how this goes. We've done it so many times in the past. And Alex Smith will be announced as the Redskins' new starting quarterback. They'll hold up the number 11 jersey with Smith on the back. He'll talk about how happy he is to be a Redskin and how he feels appreciated and wanted. And he's so grateful for the opportunity, yada, yada, yada. We'll get excited. Some people will be disgusted. And then we'll move forward from there. But there's so much free agency to discuss. And so we need help on the defensive line. Dontari Poe's available. I got a question for you guys, and I was about to put this up on the forum, and I'm still going to put it up on the forum. If you could choose one, and I want to hear your responses, leave it in the comment section. And again, I'm on Twitter as well. If you want to skip the line and you want to have your comment read on the air, you do so via Twitter at In the Lab Room, or just type in Louie T Network. Use the hashtag Louie T Live to have your comment read. And you can jump the line instead of having your comment all the way at the bottom and not being seen in the time that you want it to be seen, in the timely manner that you want it to be read. Go to Twitter and you'll be able to jump the line. In any event, the Jets just released a big defensive lineman that I think can really help us in Muhammad Wilkerson, Big Mo Wilkerson. Which would you rather have? And they're 2 totally different players. Mo Wilkerson is more of a 5-tech, okay, which we still could use an upgrade at. Don't get it twisted. But he can play all 3 downs. Or Dontari Poe, a big space-eating nose tackle that is really more of a first and second down guy. Now, can he get pressure on the quarterback? Maybe. He can collapse a pocket or two. But I think more of where he fits in this day and age in the NFL is just on first or second down, stopping the run. Would you prefer to have Poe as a true nose, something that we've lacked in our 3-4 defense since making the conversion from a 4-3 to a 3-4? Or would you rather have Muhammad Wilkerson, a guy that I think still has a lot of good football left in him and is capable of getting to the quarterback and has 3-down potential written all over him and is more of a 5-tech, not a true nose tackle in this league? Want to hear your thoughts on that. Let's get to some of your comments, though. And again, I apologize for the last couple of days. It's been rough on not just you, but me as well, trying to go live and not being able to do so. So I thank you guys for being patient with me and rocking with me. So with that being said, let's keep it moving. And HTTR to the fullest says, should we get Richard Sherman? No, we shouldn't get Richard Sherman. It's nice that he's going to be free, and we'll see what happens with Richard Sherman. If the Seahawks decide to cut him loose, they may either cut him or they're going to try to shop him first. But we know how this goes. If you can't trade a player in a timely manner, you got to cut him. And I think he maybe do some type of roster bonus if I'm not mistaken. That's why there's such a hurry to do it, because if there weren't a roster bonus involved, then what would be the basis for trying to rid yourself of Richard Sherman this early into the league year? So something tells me that at the start of the new league year, he's probably due a roster bonus, and so they're trying to trade him. And if they can't get that done, reports are they're looking to cut bait with him and Jeremy Lane. Remember, they tried to trade Lane last year in the Dwayne Brown trade, and Jeremy Lane failed the physical and got sent back to Seattle. And so he finished out the year in Seattle, but they're trying to get rid of both of those guys. And if they can't, they're going to probably dump both of them off on the wayside. And they're going to find work elsewhere, no doubt about it, in a league where cornerbacks are hard to find. You best believe Richard Sherman. Dick Sherman's going to find work. I don't know how much good football he's got left. Remember, he's coming off of major surgery, tearing his Achilles. He's going to need work. I think he either tore his Achilles or his ACL on that Thursday night game versus the Arizona Cardinals. Either way, for an aging veteran, that's not a great injury to have. Obviously, no injury is. But he was already losing a step, was Dick Sherman, and he didn't have a step to lose in the first place. So I'll pass on Dick Sherman. We already have one aging veteran corner that's being paid probably more money than he needs to be paid. We don't need two of those guys on our football team. So, no, I will pass on Dick Sherman. Thank you very much. But I do appreciate the invitation. But I will definitely pass on Dick Sherman. Thanks. Anyway. DC Big Oso, what's good with you, man? Says, should the Redskins handle free agency full steam ahead or very precise? Well, first of all, you know who's pulling the trigger, man. So, you know Bruce ain't about going out and spending lavishly. Okay, that's not what Bruce Allen is about. It's not how he's wired. You know Bruce is going to go through free agency with a fine-tooth comb, look for some of the best low-budget deals he can find. So if you're thinking the Redskins are going to go out and spend a ton of money on, say, Allen Robinson, or I think a guy that's going to get paid a lot of money is Paul Richardson, not happening, okay? He's going to find that low-budget guy, that John Brown discounted item all the way at the back of the store, okay, all the way at the back of the free agent store with all the orange tags that say clearance, where it said was $30, now $17. That's where Bruce Allen is going to shop. And so just like he did last year with the two defensive tackles that we got with DJ Swearinger, which was a discounted item, a really good one. I was happy with my purchase. I don't know about you, but I was happy with the DJ Swearinger purchase. I was happy with the Zach Brown purchase, but those were all clearance items, okay? Zach Brown thought he was going to command a ton of money, and when they first put that item on the rack, man, that item was like $50. And then as free agency passed and Zach Brown didn't get the deal, they moved that to the back of the store because they had new items coming in, and he was now an old item. They put him all the way to the back of the store. Hey, you can get this for $10, man. Bruce was like, $10? I'll take it. He put it in the cart. We're not going to get big money items, okay? We get Terrell McClains. We generally don't get the big money free agents. We get Stacy McGee. We don't go out and get the big money big name free agents anymore. This isn't the Vinny Serrato show where they would fire up Redskins 1 and go pick up any and everybody, sign them to the biggest deal you could imagine, and bring them in to the organization. That's not what's happening anymore. So are the Redskins going to approach free agency full head of steam? Yeah, but it's going to be an abbreviated full head of steam because Bruce Allen is pulling the strings. And when Bruce is involved, little to no money gets spent. And I'm not entirely mad at that, but we do need help. And there are some guys on the free agent market that I think can help this team. And sometimes you got to be willing to spend money to make the necessary changes that can help your football team. And so I think they'll be full head of steam, but at a cautious price. All right? It's got to be for the right price. Gregory Lightbody says, I really like Kerryon Johnson. He reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. I would love to get him in the second round. And I think we can get him in the second round. And I like him too. I appreciate all the thumbs up, guys. All right, I really appreciate it. Good looking out. I like him a lot. And he'll be there in the second round for the Redskins to select. Just like last year when I told the Redskins to take a guy that I really, really liked in Alvin Kamara. They had a chance. I told him that I wanted him to be taken in the first round, but that wasn't necessary. He wasn't going to go in the first round, but I was just saying he's a first-round back. But when he was sitting there for the Redskins in the second round, I was convinced they were going to do it. I was wrong. I said, well, at least take an edge rusher, Terrell Basham, the kid out of Alabama, Tim Williams, somebody that's going to help. Nope. They took Ryan Anderson. You know how I felt about it then. You know how I feel about it now, and I don't anticipate that changing. I feel the same way this year about our second-round pick. There will be a back there. I don't know if Sony Michel will be there. I can't speak to all of the other backs that I like in this draft potentially being. Look, I know for sure Saquon Barkley and Geis won't be there. Those are the only two backs that I can assure you won't be there when the Redskins select in the second round. Now, Sony Michel may ultimately not be there in the second round. Nick Chubb may ultimately not be there when it's all said and done. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I can tell you this much. I fully expect Kerryon Johnson to be there. The reason he didn't run his 40 at the combine, he's not going to run really fast. He's not a fast, explosive back. But what he is, like you said, more of a Le'Veon Bell type. Le'Veon Bell doesn't blow anybody away with his speed. But Le'Veon Bell is so patient. He's got tremendous vision, great balance. He's everything you want in a back, can catch it. And I think Kerryon Johnson can catch it as well. I was just watching some tape on him today, again, just because I want to familiarize myself with his game. And I like him a lot, too, in the second round. And I think that could be a really good pick for the Redskins. Remember, use the hashtag Louie T Live if you want to have your comment read in this breakdown. C. Brunson says, Allen Robinson, Sammy Watkins, your thoughts on wide receivers and free agency. I talked about this on my podcast, so if you haven't already listened to my podcast, check that out. But Allen Robinson is intriguing. I don't think if you're anybody but Jacksonville, I don't think you can give him anything but a one-year prove-it deal. If you're Jacksonville, you know the guy. He's been in your system. You drafted him. You know what this guy's work ethic is. You know what kind of a teammate he is in the locker room. You know what kind of guy you're dealing with. So if you want to extend him a 3-year, 4-year, multi-year lucrative deal, if you're Jacksonville, go right ahead. You know the player. You know what he's capable of. And you know, more importantly, what this guy is like in the locker room. Okay? You know his study habits. You know his work habits. You know what you're getting in the Allen Robinson package. If you're another team outside of Jacksonville who doesn't know how this guy works on a day-in, day-out basis, you don't know his work ethic, you don't know his film study, you don't know his dedication to the game, you don't know what you're getting coming off of major knee surgery, you can't give this man a long-term deal. So if you're asking me which one is better, who has the better upside, I'd take Allen Robinson. I think his upside is better than that of Samuel Watkins. Both have had injuries now, with Allen Robinson having this major injury and Watkins just being nicked up over the life of his early career. But the guy that I think you would be more likely to give a long-term deal to right now would be Samuel Watkins. But again, I would prefer Allen Robinson over Samuel Watkins. And so we'll see what happens. But it's an interesting free agent group of receivers because Robinson is probably the best of the group, but obviously he's coming off of major surgery with the torn ACL. Samuel Watkins is so inconsistent, but yet so talented. All you got to do is go look at the Thursday night game. I want to say it was week 4 versus the 49ers on the road, where he went bananas and was outstanding. The guy can play, but there are too many games where he's got 2 catches for 17 yards or 1 catch for 9 yards or no catches at all, where you go, what the hell is going on? How can you be as talented as you are and not have an impact on the game every single week? And to take it a step further, he's still got an injury history that does concern me. So that's the Samuel Watkins story. Then you look at some other guys, John Brown, injury history. But we need a guy that can take the top off the defense. And I'm going to tell you, last year I was encouraged by some of the receivers you could get late in the draft that were speed demons. That's not the case this year. I'm not that enthused about the receiver class in general in the draft. So I would much rather go out and spend some money in free agency on one of these young guys coming off of their rookie deal. I don't want a veteran wide receiver that's on his second going into his third contract. I want a young guy coming off of his rookie deal, preferably a guy that wasn't a first-round pick. So this is only his 5th year in the league, going into his 5th year. So one less year of tread worn off of those tires. John Brown, Paul Richardson, they both fit into that category. I'm a Paul Richardson guy. John Brown is a guy that definitely takes the top off the defense, but he's got injury issues. So we'll see what the Redskins decide to do. But if you want to go through the list of receivers, I've got it right here in front of me, guys that I think are notable free agent receivers. And so the list is Jarvis Landry, obviously franchise tag. And the Redskins actually inquired about Jarvis Landry, and they found out very quickly from the Dolphins price was way too high, and so they're out of that Jarvis Landry sweepstakes. But Samuel Watkins, Allen Robinson are two guys that are very intriguing. I just talked about them. Paul Richardson is a guy that I really like. John Brown is another guy that I think. And if you're looking for ages, Landry's 25, Watkins 24, Robinson 24, which is right around where you're looking for, 24, 25. Richardson's 25. John Brown is 27 years old, and he's got an injury history. Marquise Lee, another Jaguar, 26 years old. I'm not a Marquise Lee guy, and I'm not a fan of his. Danny Amendola's 32, and we don't need Danny Amendola. We have Jamison Crowder, who we need to re-sign as he's coming up on free agency next year. Taylor Gabriel is an interesting guy at 27 years old from the Atlanta Falcons. He is a guy that definitely can take the top off of defense. Again, Jay Gruden, if you heard him speak at the Combine, he made mention of having a receiver that's all-purpose, can do it all kind of guy. That's not Taylor Gabriel. He's a stretch the field, top off the defense, and a wide receiver screen hitch guy like he was utilized in Atlanta. Dante Moncrief is very intriguing. He's the guy that I'm really fascinated by, really like his game, and I loved him in Indy when Andrew Luck was healthy. He can be inconsistent, but he's got #1 receiver type skills and a body type that lends itself to really being able to do some damage in this league. But he's dealt with injuries in Indy, and he's had some inconsistencies in his game, but he's only 24 years old as well. Jordan Matthews, remember the ex-Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bill wide receiver. I'm good on him. He's 25 years old. I'll pass. Albert Wilson, ex-Kansas City Chief. Alex Smith knows him well, may be able to vouch for him. Again, that's a guy that I think the Redskins would sign. That's the kind of signing Bruce Allen would go out and make. Not one that I would love, but that's one guy that I think they would sign because that's a Bruce Allen type of signing. A low-risk, low-impact, and low-cost free agent like Wilson is a guy that I think the Redskins might try to invest in. Then you've got Mike Wallace, no. Terrell Pryor, hell no. And Eric Decker and Jerron Brown. Jerron Brown is very interesting from the Arizona Cardinals. I think he's a bona fide stud that just didn't get enough targets in Arizona. He can run. He's got a big body. He can catch. I'd like to take a flyer on him. But again, I don't know if the Redskins are in that kind of frame of mind right now. But I really like Jerron Brown. And I think if given the opportunity, he can actually make some plays for you. So those are the wide receivers right now. And if you listen to my podcast, episode 1, I went through all of these guys. So again, if you haven't checked out the podcast, you need to go ahead and do that. Let's keep going. Lorenzo Simpson says, free agency, Zach Brown, best left guard available, and Allen Robinson. So that's what he wants to do. So he's assuming that we're not going to have our guard back, Spencer Long, and he's going to test free agency, probably get big money from someone, and keep it moving. So he wants to go out and get a guard. I don't have a problem with that. But if our stuff is available and is more than adequate enough to get the job done, and you don't have to pay a ton of money for it, why not just re-up on the stuff that we drafted and we developed? Just a thought. But I don't see the Redskins getting Allen Robinson. I think there are going to be a number of teams vying for his services. And I honestly don't think he wants to leave Jacksonville, and I don't think Jacksonville wants to let him leave. I think there's a mutual interest between the two. Now, again, if Jacksonville isn't willing to show the man the money, then he may walk and end up somewhere else. Zach Brown is interesting because last offseason, Zach Brown left Buffalo looking for big money. He didn't get it. He signed a one-year prove-it deal. He proved it in his mind, okay, before the injuries. He was balling out, and now he's on the market again looking for another big deal. And I'm hearing that he's looking to be one of the highest paid inside linebackers in the league, and the Redskins just don't view him as that type of player. He makes a ton of mistakes in pass coverage. Bottom line is, I don't give a shit about any of that. I want Zach Brown back. That kind of speed, you got to pay for it. It's rare in this league. We need to have him back. And I'd still like to draft a linebacker if at all possible with some more athleticism. I'm trying to get faster on defense. I love Mason Foster. Glad they re-signed him because you need the depth at inside linebackers. You saw we were ravaged by injuries last year. But don't get it twisted. I want Zach Brown back. I want to draft another linebacker with some speed. I want to infuse athleticism into this defense. But I don't know if Zach Brown's going to get the type of money that he's looking for, at least not from the Redskins. So that's something to keep your eye on, because if you heard the Redskins, you heard Doug Williams at the Combine. Doug Williams said, look, we already extended an offer out to Zach Brown, and we haven't heard back from his camp. What that tells me is the deal wasn't even worth responding to. Sort of like the Kirk Cousins deal in 2015 when the Redskins came at him with $24 million guaranteed and $16 million per. And Kirk Cousins and his camp laughed and said, hey, we'll take $72 million total, 48 guaranteed and 19 per. And they never got back to Kirk Cousins on that. I think it's a similar situation. And if somebody else is willing to pay Zach Brown, he's going to be gone. Again, Bruce Allen is a penny pincher. And when the guy is worth paying in his mind and the rest of the organization's mind, they do it. A la Jordan Reed and Trent Williams and Ryan Kerrigan. We've seen them pony up, okay? Josh Norman, they ponied up. Deshaun Jackson, they ponied up. When they deem the player one that is worth the value they're looking for, they'll pay it. But if they have questions, any doubts, like Kirk Cousins, like Zach Brown, they're not going to pay it. Like Bashaud Breeland, they're not going to pay the money that player is looking for. So we'll see what happens, Zoe. We'll see what happens. Matthew Lynch says, P. Rich, fire. Hashtag, you know what it is. That's the guy that I would like to have, but you know how it goes. A lot of other teams, the Ravens, are looking for a receiver. The Bears are desperate for receiver help. There are a number. We're not the only team looking for wide receiver help. And so there are other teams with cap space that have an opportunity to go out and make their team better. And I think there are going to be some teams looking to spend some money and probably spend more money than what the Redskins are willing to spend. So we'll see what happens with that situation. Zoe also says, defensive lineman Payne or Vita Vea. Second round running back Rashad Penny. I don't even think you got to spend a second round pick on Rashad Penny. I think you could get him in the third. Oops, we don't have a third round pick. So I don't know if Penny's worth a second round pick. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and tell you, I wouldn't want to spend it. And it's not because he's not a quality back. I just think you can wait and still get him in the third or potentially the fourth round. If you like him that much, package together a deal and move up to the third round and go get him. But I just don't see Penny being a guy that the Redskins will spend a second round pick on. But we'll see. You never know. But Daron Payne and Vita Vea probably will be there at 13 when we select in the first round. We'll see. Free agency, again, is going to tell the story. If the Redskins go aggressive at linebacker, they most likely, and again, at 13, best player available. If that's a linebacker, you take him. If it's a corner, you take him. If it's a safety, you take him. Again, irregardless of position, best player available. Obviously, if it's a quarterback, you don't take him. Okay, we don't want to go down that road. But if it's anything on defense, pass rusher, defensive line, linebacker, safety, corner, who gives a shit? We need it all. We'll take it at 13. Best player available at 13. And then after that, then you can start going into best player available meets need, mesh the two together, and make a selection. Atlas says, you think Poe to the Skins is possible? Yeah, I do. I really do. Because remember, he got a 1-year prove-it deal last year from Atlanta. And I'm not sure that he proved anything last year other than what everybody thought. He can stop the run, but he's not much of a pass rusher. Now, Atlanta didn't give him much of an opportunity to stop or to go after the quarterback as they yanked him off the field on third downs. But most teams look at Dontari Poe as exactly that, a guy that can help you on first or second downs, but not necessarily the guy you want on the field on third downs. And so I don't know if he's going to be a guy that commands a ton of money and gets a big long-term deal. Other guys like Star Lotulelei are going to be more sought after and coveted. Mo Wilkerson might even be more coveted than him, even though I think Mo Wilkerson's a little bit older still. Dontari Poe's not a spring chicken himself. Star Lotulelei is a guy that I think is probably in that 26, 27 mode. Let me check my list right now. Star Lotulelei is 28. Dontari Poe's 27. And Mo Wilkerson, I think, is right around that 28 range. So if you are 29, 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there. So if you ask me, there are plenty of defensive linemen. You want to go through the list right now. Again, I've done this on my podcast, so I won't go into great depths, but I'll run down the list quickly. Star Lotulelei is going to cost a boatload of money, more than the Redskins will be willing to spend, but he's 28 years old. Sheldon Richardson is a free agent. He's a beast, 27 years old. You know he comes with off-the-field baggage, however, so that's something to keep in mind. The Redskins have done a really good job of staying away from guys that can be off-the-field risks. So I don't know if they'll be willing to spend what it's going to take to get a Sheldon Richardson, who's a 3-down player, and also deal with the off-the-field issues potentially. Dontari Poe, 27 years old, a 2-down player. I don't know what the market is for him. Again, the Redskins aren't going to overpay for a guy that can only play on 2 downs. We did that last year with 2 players that were basically first and second down players only. I don't see them doing that again for the second straight offseason. Shamar Stephen is an intriguing guy. Out of Minnesota. He's 27 years old. He was a backup rotational defensive lineman. I think he's going to get starters money on the market. And similar to what the Redskins did last year, they went out and got a couple of guys that were fringe starters on their old teams. Redskins gave them starter money to be starters on their team. He's going to command that kind of money. And I actually like Shamar Stephen better than both of the guys that we got in free agency last year, but that's nor here nor there. Benny Logan is a free agent out of Kansas City. Remember, he's an ex-Philadelphia Eagle as well. Daquan Jones out of Tennessee, young guy from Penn State. Now the Titans have allowed him to hit free agency. He's 26. Brent Urban, ex-Baltimore Raven. One of the best run-stuffing defensive tackles in the league, but he's coming off of an injury himself. He's 26. Danico Autry, he's a guy that is very intriguing. He can get after the quarterback, but he's not the best against the run out in Oakland. He's 27. Tyron Walker is 28. He's a free agent. Haloti Ngata's 34, but again, I'm not looking to invest into old guys. And so Jay Bromley, Giant, he's interesting too. I don't think he's a 3-down player, but he definitely is good against the run. He's 25, so he's very young, very intriguing. And then Jelly Ellis in Oakland, 27 years old. I'm done shopping at the Oakland Raiders store, if you don't mind. So those are the defensive linemen. So we'll see what happens there as we keep it moving. Corey Fitterman says, who do you like our Redskins to get in free agency? I would like the Redskins to re-sign Zach Brown. I'd like them to re-sign Trent Murphy and gauge the market for Spencer Long. If it's not to your liking, move on, okay? And I can give you some guards that are available in free agency. Andrew Norwell going to be the highest paid guard in free agency this year, sort of like the Cincinnati Bengals guard last year that ended up signing a huge deal with the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be too rich for our blood. Jack Newhart is interesting coming out of Indy. Injury concerns though, but when he's on the field, he's very solid. He's 26 years old, as is Andrew Norwell. Josh Klein coming out of Tennessee, he's 28. Sean Laval, we don't want him back. Zach Fulton is very intriguing coming out of Kansas City. He's 26. And I think that's the kind of guy that the Redskins would sign. A guy that's going to get paid some good money, but not great money, not top of the market free agent dollars, but still be a quality signing. And he's got good durability, has started a ton of games for the Chiefs. over the last few years. He's intriguing. DJ Fluker, I'm good. I'm a pass. Jonathan Cooper, same thing. Coming off of a really good season with the Cowboys. I'm good. I'm a pass on him. Senio Calamete from New Orleans. Again, I'm good. Thanks, though. So, not a lot of intriguing names. A couple do catch my eye, but not a lot there. But for me, in free agency, Zach Brown, Trent Murphy, Paul Richardson would be the first wave of guys that I would target. I don't want a running back in free agency. I want to address that in the draft. We've already addressed the quarterback position with the trade. My receiver of choice would be Paul Richardson. If we couldn't get Richardson, I'd take Dante Moncrief. Those are the only two guys I would really take. I don't think Allen Robinson is a guy that wants to, A, come to Washington, and B, I don't think the Redskins are looking to invest what he's probably looking for if he's only going to get a one-year prove-it deal. We'll see what happens there. But the tight end position, I heard the Redskins are interested in ex-Oakland Raiders tight end Lee Smith. And if they go out and get him, it's going to be a low-risk, low-money deal. And again, all Lee Smith is a run. He's one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the league. The Redskins have been rumored to be interested in Lee Smith. If they sign him, all that means is Niles Paul won't be back, which I don't think he's going to be back. Anyway, tight ends, I just mentioned that. Offensive tackles were good. Offensive guard, I just told you, Zach Fulton will probably – Jack Newhart, Zach Fulton, and our guy, okay, Spencer Long, would be the only guys that I would be intrigued by out of that group. And center, Spencer Long is listed as a center, but I think he's really more naturally a guard. So we'll see what happens there. We're good at center, though, because I think we like Chase Rouillet, and he's going to start for us this year. Edge rusher – there's nothing to be had in this group, so I'm not even going to – again, I went through all of this. Oh, I do want the Redskins to go out and sign Jerry Atauchu from the Los Angeles Chargers. He's 25, a guy that I was in love with coming out of Georgia Tech. I think he's explosive, dynamic. He'd be a great replacement for Junior Gillette. So that's a guy I would love the Redskins to sign, but I don't see it happening. But he'd be a guy that wouldn't command a ton of money, and he'd be one of those low-risk, high-reward type of signees if you get him to work. So that's a guy I'm really intrigued by. Defensive line, again, Dontari Poe, I wouldn't be mad at. Sheldon Richardson, I would love, but I don't think the Redskins would do it. Those are really the only two guys. And Jay Bromley, I wouldn't have a problem with Jay Bromley either, but again, I don't see the Redskins doing any of those guys. Linebackers, Zach Brown, Nigel Bradham had a hell of a year in Philly. Would love to take a shot at him, but again, it's going to cost you money. And if they don't want to pay Zach Brown, I don't see them going out and spending the type of money it's going to take to sign a guy like a Nigel Bradham, because I think he's going to command top dollar free agent money at the linebacker position for what he did for the Eagles last season. So this is a list that isn't really that intriguing. Tahir Whitehead, Avery Williamson, Navarro Bowman, Paul Puzzlesney, Todd Davis, Anthony Hitchens is interesting out of Dallas. He's inconsistent, but when he's good, man, is he good. And he's young. He's 25. Preston Brown, Carlos Dansby, Kevin Pierre-Louis, John Bostic, Josh Bynes, Will Compton, Christian Jones, and Devon Kennard. None of those guys move the needle for me. So there's that. The cornerback market is intriguing, but it's not something that I really want the Redskins to really go diving in unless they're getting something worth getting. And let's quickly go through the list. Again, I talked about all this on my podcast, so I'm not going to really go through the list in detail like I did on the podcast. But Tremaine Johnson, and I got my top 23 free agents on the site, louietnetwork.net, so check that out as well if you want to know how I rank the free agents available in free agency. Tremaine Johnson, Malcolm Butler, they're going to be the two hottest names in free agency, going to command top of the market money. Redskins are out of both of those guys' sweepstakes. Vontae Davis, no. Aaron Colvin, Kyle Fuller had the franchise tag, or transition tag, excuse me, slapped on him in Chicago, so he's not available. Patrick Robinson, Mo Claiborne, Rashawn Melvin, E.J. Gaines, Nikel Roby Coleman, Prince Amukamara, Nevin Lawson, Bashad Breeland, Dante Johnson, Ross Cockrell, Devon House, TJ Carey, Brent Grimes. Again, none of those names really moved the needle. If push came to shove, I would just rather have my stuff back than to go out and get somebody else's trash. So, in any event, safeties. Eric Reed, LaMarcus Joyner. The Rams were smart enough to slap the franchise tag on him. Morgan Burnett, Kenny Vaccaro, Tavon Wilson, Corey Graham, TJ Ward, Trey Boston, Bradley McDougald are your safeties. Eric Reed is the only guy that interests me. And again, he's going to cost you money. He's young, he's good, he's talented, and he comes with the whole stigma of, is he going to stand for the national anthem or kneel? That doesn't bother me one bit, but again, that may bother some teams, including the Redskins. Let's keep it moving, though. Lorenzo Simpson says, if the money is right and attitude, I'll take Wilkerson. I'll sign up for some. I definitely will sign up for some more Wilkerson. You're damn right. Corey Fitterman says, I don't see us signing Brown back. I don't either. I'm going to be real with you. I want him back, but I like you, see the writing on the wall. If they really wanted Zach Brown back and he really wanted to be here, and if the deal that they extended to him made sense for him and his camp, he would have signed it already. There's a reason why Quentin Dunbar is already back. There's a reason that we've already re-signed all of the guys that we really, really wanted back, because the deals made sense for them. That's why we've already got Mason Foster back, because the deals made sense for them and they signed him. I don't. Same thing with Ryan Grant. What's the holdup on Ryan Grant? I don't know. What's the holdup on Trent Murphy? I don't know. We're going to see. Maybe there's a discrepancy between how much they think they're worth and how much the Redskins are willing to pay them. So we'll see. No open phone lines this time. Maybe I'll open them up next week for free agency. We'll see. The Sports Talk says, I'd take Poe. He's a better locker room guy, and we need a true nose. Interesting. And I think he may be a little younger than Mo Wilkerson as well. Matthew Lynch says, take a look at Daquan Jones from Tennessee. Dude's young and an up-and-coming pass rusher. I talked about Daquan Jones. I don't really like Daquan Jones. I really wasn't a huge fan of his coming out of Penn State. And I really didn't see a lot from him. And there's a reason Tennessee is allowing this young man to walk. He's only 26. It's not like the Titans don't have enough cap space freed up to re-sign him if they really wanted to. I just think he's been underwhelming for them, hasn't really moved the needle, and so they're letting him move on. And again, I don't see him just all of a sudden the light bulb coming on and this guy just turned into a beast. But you never know. We've seen it happen before. King Jaffe Joe says, rise up. Eagles, Super Bowl champs, getting Wentz back, got Bennett, and only getting better, not to mention the draft. How far are your Redskins from being contenders in the NFC East? It's a year-to-year league. I mean, it's never more evident than in the NFC East itself. We haven't had a repeat champion in the NFC East since 2003 when the Eagles did it back-to-back years. So it's been over a decade, really almost 15 years since a team has went back-to-back in the division as a champ. So if you're talking contender in the division, I think we're a few pieces away in health from competing. If you're talking Super Bowl, I think we got a little ways to go, before we get there. But we'll see. Jonas McConan says, A-Rob at 16 mil or Paul Richardson at 8? Well, you know what Bruce Allen would do. Bruce is taking P. Rich at 8 all day, twice on Sundays. Now, what would I do? Is that a 1-year, $16 million deal? Because I would sign him to a 1-year, let's call it $10 million deal with incentives that if he's healthy and hits a certain number of catches and yards, he could get to 16 and then have a chance to re-sign him next year. But if you're just coming out the gate and you're offering A-Rob, let's say a 3-year, $48 million deal with 24 of that guaranteed, I'm going to pass. That's too much money for a guy coming off a major knee surgery that I don't know. We saw that with Terrell Pryor. We just knew that Terrell Pryor was going to come in and change the game, and that we were going to have to re-sign him in the offseason. We thought, we just knew. Remember all of the footage of him, one hand grabs, all oiled up, oil dripping all over his body, catching the ball with one hand in camp, looking like a certified beast. All that shit was a facade. It was fake. It was fake news, okay? He tricked the hell out of our ass. I'm not trying to do that again. So, I take P. Rich at 8. FBG Tony says, Poe, Allen Robinson, Chris Baker, and resigning Zach Brown. Does that sound good to you? I'm going to pass on Chris Baker. There's a reason why Tampa signed him to a 3-year, or was it 4-year deal worth right around 20, and then cut bait with him after 1 year. Because he's all talk and no production. That's why the Redskins let him walk. So I'm good on Bate. Love Bate to death. I don't want him back on the squad, though. I would love to have Brown back. I would take Dontari Poe in a heartbeat. I'll take Allen Robinson, too. But again, price got to be right. And you know, with Bruce Allen, the price always has to be right. Let's get to another comment. Atlas says, you think Skins are in play for trading for Landry? No, I don't. I think the asking price for Jarvis Landry is going to be too high. And I think that not only are you going to have to give up picks to get him, then you're going to have to give him a long-term deal. I don't see the Redskins doing that. John Perez says, out right now, but I want to know how you feel about getting DeMarco Murray. Nope, I'm good. I don't want a veteran back. I want a young back. I don't want no back in free agency. Not a single one. I want to roll with the young guys we got. I want to roll with Chris Thompson, and I want a young back in the draft. I want young, fresh. Look, the running back position is no country for old men. I don't want an old back. I want new, fresh legs in the backfield. Atlas says, take it from a Bucs fan. Bruce Allen is a total clown. The faster you get rid of him, the better. Look, we know this. You're not telling us something that we don't already know. Problem is, he's our owner's right-hand man, and I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. C. Brunson says, with that being said about Bruce, who is someone worth an investment that would help us tremendously? We've pretty much talked about that throughout this live stream. Corey Fitterman says, I like Sony Michel better than Kalen Ballage from ASU, and I've got to watch him here in Arizona his whole career. Ballage isn't. I don't think he's an every down back. He looks the part though, like 6'2", 228. I mean, damn, he looks the part. Fast as hell, can catch it a little bit, but the inconsistencies in his game scare me. I'd much rather take Sony Michel than I would Ballage, but we'll see what happens. Jonas McConey says, if Zach doesn't re-sign Tremaine Edmonds at 13, Tremaine Edmonds won't be there at 13, bro. He won't. He's not getting past the Niners at 9, and if he somehow, by the grace of God, does, he's not getting past the Raiders at 10. So you can cancel that. I really think we're going to see 2 linebackers go off the board in the top 10, back-to-back picks. I think Edmonds goes off the board at 9, and I think right after him, the Georgia linebacker goes right after him to the Raiders. There's no way Tremaine Edmonds gets past 10, though. I can guarantee you that. I bet everything I own he didn't make it past the Raiders at 10. And frankly, I don't think he makes it past the Niners at 9. So we'll see what happens there. John Perez says, any chance we have a shot at signing Richard Sherman once Seattle releases him, which is what I'm hearing. I don't know, but why would you want Richard Sherman? Why would you want Dick Sherman? You want 2 agent corners out wide? Is that what you want? No, I'm good. And you know he's not free. He's going to cost a lot of money. I'm good. I'm going to pass. Tyreek Berryman says, I'm a huge fan of yours. Great content and a huge Redskin fan. Was wondering why don't we move up in the draft to get a running back from Penn State? Hey, appreciate that, man. It's going to cost way too much. I'm hearing that this guy could go #1 overall. And depending on what the Browns do in free agency, if they attack the quarterback position in free agency, I still think, and I may be in the minority, I still think the Browns are going to target A.J. McCarron in free agency. That will solve their quarterback issue temporarily. I still think they need to draft a quarterback, but I think they'll entertain doing that later. Okay? I still think they're going to get Barkley with the #1 pick. So I think it's all but impossible to get Saquon Barkley unless you're willing to part ways with so many picks. We went down that road before, and that was the RG3 trade. And again, that was for a quarterback that we thought was going to revolutionize the game and be a franchise quarterback for the next decade and a half. Not for a running back that obviously the running back position and the amount of years you get great usage out of a back can vary. So, no, I just don't see that happening. But it's a pipe dream, and I'm not going to kill your dream, but it's not happening. I'd love to have him, though. He's a hell of a bat. SW Mike says, do you look forward to the 2018 season? Just feel like we're starting from the beginning with Kirk leaving and getting an old guy. I am. I always look forward to the season. I would tell you this much. If Colt McCoy was starting, I wouldn't be looking forward to the 2018 season. The only way that I would have had hope if Colt McCoy was starting is if we drafted a young guy at 13, and I believed in that young guy, Josh Allen, but he's not going to be there at 13 anyway. But with Alex Smith, we got a shot, man. And Alex Smith wins usually 10 games. And if we can put a good enough team around him, Alex Smith will get us 10 wins, and that'll give us a chance to go to the playoffs. And as a Redskin fan, really, that's all you're asking for at this point. It's just let me get in and see what the hell happens. I just want in. So I'm looking forward to the 2018 season. I am. Carson M says, do you think we need to get a receiver in the first round or go for defense? No, we don't need a receiver in the first round. First of all, to me, there aren't any receivers worth taking for us. I like the Alabama receiver. I don't love him. Okay, I like Calvin Ridley. I don't love him. All right, and to me, after Calvin Ridley, I don't know if there are a ton of other guys that you know who I really like? DJ Moore out of Maryland, but he's not a first-round pick. At least not for us at 13. Maybe if you're picking at that back end of the first round, I wouldn't mind taking a first-round flyer on DJ Moore. But he's now, if DJ Moore was on the board at the Redskins' second-round pick, I would definitely be interested in that. For sure. But not at 13. We need defense at 13 and probably even need defense in the second round. But again, I want a high-level back. So I'm willing to spend the second-round pick on a high-level back or a big-time receiver like DJ Moore. But other than that, on offense, I want another defender in the second round if we can't get a back. If none of the backs that I like aren't available, if they're not there, then I don't want a back. I don't want to just draft a back for the sake of drafting a back. We did that last year with Samaj P. Ryan. So I don't want to do that again. Boba Sis says, what up, Lou? What's good, Bo? So good to see you back on here. Here's to another below-average free agency followed by a disastrous 2018 season. Can't wait, he says, sarcasm. The bad part about what you said is all of it's been true over the last 5 to 10 years, intermittently so. You know, we've had one good year, then a disastrous year, one good year, then a disastrous year. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. But Stephon Gilmore is not a free agent. The Patriots signed him to a very lucrative long-term deal last season. Cody Suter says, what do you think of Derwin James? He's my favorite DB prospect and would perfectly replace Kendall Fuller. Well, he's a safety, and he can drop over the slot, but I don't think he is a guy you want checking slippery slot guys. I like Derwin James as a pure safety. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's not a Kendall Fuller replacement. I think the guy that's ultimately going to replace Kendall Fuller is already on the roster. A guy that I told you last year in the draft that I thought was a really good 7th round pick by the Redskins. And so I think that Joshua Halsey is going to be the replacement for Kendall Fuller. And I think he's going to do a great job if he can stay healthy. I really like Joshua Halsey. And I like Derwin James as well, and wouldn't have a problem at all with the Redskins selecting him at 13 if he is available. Carson M says, should we re-sign Zach Brown? Yes, we should. Will we? I don't think so. Tall Stack says, sup, brother? Who you thinking first round? I'm hoping for Roquan Smith. Smith and Edmonds are going to be gone, if you ask me. 9 and 10, back to back. Whoever is not taken at 9 will be taken at 10. Both teams are looking for linebacker help in the worst way. And those are the 2 best inside linebackers in the draft by far. And both of those guys, to me, will be gone before 13. So, I, like you, would love to take either one of those guys. I don't think either one of them would be there. Robert Gamble says, I want us to get Allen Robinson or Sammy Watkins. I think we have more of a chance of getting Sammy Watkins than we do Allen Robinson. Both teams are looking to retain those players. Jacksonville with Robinson and Rams with Watkins. It wouldn't shock me if both of those guys are re-signed to their current teams as it's constituted right now. John Perez says, DeMarco Murray and Muhammad Wilkerson were released, but they're from their respective teams. Which one should we sign? That's a no-brainer. Muhammad Wilkerson would be the guy that I would want to sign, but we'll see what happens. He also says, any shot we get Allen Robinson? If there's a shot, I just think it's a very small one. Orlando Ordaz says, watch out for the Eagles, buddy. We already are watching out for the Eagles. We started looking out for them last year. They're definitely on the map for sure. Gregory Lightbody says, Tyrann Mathieu is a free agent. Is free. Should we get him and put him at strong safety? He is not a free agent. I think he's got one more year on his deal in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. Rams just traded for Aqib Talib. Yikes. Trader less is at it again. So the Rams are just revamping their defense. They're looking to go all in. So, wow, and wow. Breaking news here on the Louie T Network. Rams just traded with the Broncos, and it's crazy. I just talked about it on my podcast that the Broncos were going to trade Aqib Talib. Just talked about it on my podcast yesterday, as a matter of fact, and it happens. They got a nasty defense, and what's crazy is they got 2 head cases at corner. They're going to be a tough team to deal with, and just from a physicality standpoint, they're going to be tough to deal with. Skrilla Gorilla says, if we don't sign Zach Brown, how about the Skins transition Sua Cravens into a linebacker? I don't think he's going to be back with the Redskins. I talked about that on the podcast as well. I think the Redskins are going to trade him. Jay Gruden said that we weren't trading him. I don't believe it. I've listened to at least 3 or 4 players from the Redskins talk about the Sua Cravens situation this offseason, and none of them gave him a ringing endorsement. None of them said they wouldn't play with him, but if you don't mind playing with a guy, you'll just come out and say, nah, man, we would love to have Sua back in the locker room. That's not that wasn't the vibe I got from listening to those guys. And again, when you quit on your team like he did last year, it's hard to be integrated back into the locker room. I talked about that on my podcast, so check it out. C. Brunson says, DeMarco Murray, a free agent running back. Martavis Bryant, didn't hear you mention. Martavis Bryant is not a free agent. You have to trade for him. He has 1 more year left on his deal. DeMarco Murray was just released today, so that's why he wasn't on my list, but I wouldn't want you I wouldn't want the Redskins to go out and get DeMarco Murray anyway. So that's why I didn't name him anyway. Atlas says, Rams are making a ton of moves. What's the deal? Were they that unhappy on defense? No. They feel like they're that close. This isn't they were unhappy. This is, hey, we are this close. We are a couple of bona fide studs out wide and another pass rusher from turning this thing into a Super Bowl run. They feel like they're right there with what they got on offense, with what they got potentially coming back on defense, and now trading away Ogletree, and they're freeing up cap space as well. Trading away Ogletree, trading away Quinn, who didn't necessarily fit, bringing in Peters, who's still on his rookie deal, bringing in L.A.B, who's on a contract that's probably a little bit more cost-effective for them. And now all of a sudden, you got all these studs on this defense. You bring back LaMarcus Joyner, which was a great move on their part. They still got all their draft picks. They're in a great position. Matthew 123 says, what do you think of Sitton? Too old, he's really good. He's a tackle, if I'm not mistaken. Josh Sitton is a tackle, and he's good, but he's not great. And we got tackles. You don't go out in free agency and sign a starting tackle to be a backup on your team. So, the Redskins wouldn't invest in a Josh Sitton, and I don't even have him on my list, so I don't even think he's a free agent this year. The offensive tackles on the list are Nate Solder, Justin Pugh, Chris Hubbard, Cameron Fleming, Adrian Waddle, and Andre Smith. Now, the Packers may have released him recently. That could have easily have happened, but again, Redskins don't need a tackle. Red Sun Batron says, what about Charles Johnson? He's old, and he's a 4-3 defensive end, not a 3-4 edge rusher. Or even in your nickel packages, your sub packages, his best football is way behind him. And he only wants to play for Carolina anyway. Corey Fitterman says, L.A.B being traded to the Rams. Talked about that already. Skrilla Gorilla says, once we sign Trent Murphy back, think the Skins will transition him to defensive end? No, I think they're going to continue to play him at outside linebacker. And I think they like, when we go into our nickel sets, they like his versatility to put his hand in the dirt and rush the quarterback. So we'll see what happens with that. Woodland Chrisfield says, hey, should Matt Ioannidis play nose tackle next season? I would prefer him not to. I like him as a 5 technique. I don't think he's big enough to man up the nose. Like, we've been doing this for too long, where we keep taking these 305-pound guys that are really, truly 5 techniques and trying to make them into nose tackles. And I think Ioannidis could hold his own, but he wouldn't flourish in that role. You saw how well he was playing. He's more of a 4-down guy. He's more of an even front 3 tech than he is a nose. So you saw how well he was playing next to Jonathan Allen when we would get into our nickel packages. How him and Allen were collapsing the pocket. How he was beating guys one-on-one, getting to the quarterback. I'd hate to take him out of that element and try to kind of fit him into a situation that doesn't really suit him. Vance Valencia says, Caleb Ballage is a more athletic Matt Jones. It may be. He's faster than Matt Jones, way faster, but and he's in better shape to me. I mean, the dude is rock solid, but I wouldn't. He can fit on certain teams. I just don't think not this one. The Sports Talk says, a guy I really like is Marcus Davenport, but I don't think he'll be there when we pick. What do you think? I don't either. I think his upside is immense, and he lit it up at the combine. I can't see him getting out of the top 12, which we pick at 13. I don't see him making it to 13 either. I'm with you. Justin, the Redskins kid, said, if you had to choose a running back in the draft, who would it be? Obviously, it'd be Saquon Barkley, but if you're asking me to be realistic, the back that I would probably choose would be between Sony Michel and Kerryon Johnson. right now. And let me go through the list of backs real quick. You've got Kalen Ballage, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Darius Geis, Naheem Hines, Justin Jackson, Ronald Jones II. I got to see more of him. That may be a guy that I'm sleeping on. I got to see more of him. Sony Michel, Rashad Penny. I may be sleeping on Rashad Penny too. And somebody brought him up earlier, and I just dismissed him. He may be a guy that I'm sleeping on. Bo Scarborough, Akram Wadley, Mark Walton, Royce Freeman, Kerryon Johnson, and then you've got the back from Notre Dame as well that you don't want to forget. Being that he wasn't at the combine, it's easy to be out of sight, out of mind, but he's also a guy that I think can help you. But for me, it'd be Sony Michel or Kerryon Johnson. And maybe I need to start thinking about Ronald Jones II and Rashad Penny a little bit more as well. Jaden Dolfelmeyer says, who do you see Bruce Allen signing in free agency? I already told you earlier that it's going to be low-cost guys. So you're looking at back end of the market, probably receiver, maybe defensive line, maybe linebacker, those positions, maybe guard. But it's going to be, and I've already thrown out a list of guys. I think they're going to re-sign Trent Murphy. I'd like to see them go after Jerry Atauchu, but I don't think they will. Maybe Paul Richardson. More along the lines of Bruce Allen would be Albert Wilson because he's going to be extremely cheap. Those are the types of signings you can expect by the Redskins, but we'll see. Sneakerhead 0528 says, Peters and L.A.B in L.A. This is the no-fly zone part 2. That could be pretty nasty. We're going to see how those guys mesh together. John Niner says, Calvin Ridley at best is a number 2 receiver. I'm with you, bro. I don't see what all the hype is around Calvin Ridley. I'm really down on this wide receiver class as a whole. As a whole, if you want me to be honest with you. But Juan Jose says, Ronald Jones seems like a perfect fit with Alex Smith at the helm. He may be. You know, I got to do some more work on him. Because the little bit that I've seen of him, I really like him. I really do. Greg Brewer says, Niners are picking 9. I said that. I said that Tremaine Edmonds isn't getting past the Niners at 9, and Roquan Smith isn't getting past the Raiders at 10. That's what we talked about earlier. Lynch says, what do you think about Davenport or Hurst at 13? Now, Hurst scares me with the whole heart condition. I don't know if I love him at 13. So if you trade back, maybe Hurst is a guy that would be intriguing later on. But at 13, I don't know if I love Hurst. Davenport, for sure, would love him at 13. Absolutely. Cruising 26 says, when are you having a Giants report? You wish. Good to see you, man. Good to hear from you, though. Juan Jose says, you wanted your pass rusher. If Harold Landry is there at 13, do you take him? I don't think they do. I really think he's more of a 4-3 base end, or I think he could, well, actually, I take that back. He could be a 3-4 outside linebacker. I think he's got the body type for it. The problem with him is, does he stop the run well enough? I wouldn't, if the Redskins thought that Harold Landry was their guy at 13, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I will never beat them up for taking another swing at a pass rusher. And if they believe Harold Landry is that guy, if you watch him bend the corner, it's reminiscent of DeMarcus Ware in his prime. There aren't many guys that bend at that degree of angle and get to the quarterback, don't lose their footing, and still get to the quarterback. And Harold Landry is one of those guys. So I wouldn't be opposed to Harold Landry. Again, any difference-making defensive player at 13, I'm all for it. So let's keep it moving. Vincent Coe says, Would you like to see the Redskins trade for Earl Thomas or sign Richard Sherman? Apparently, they might all be gone this offseason. Sigh. No, I don't want to trade for Earl Thomas. He wants to go to Dallas. I don't want a guy that doesn't want to be here. He wants to go to Dallas. He's already made that apparent. As far as Dick Sherman is concerned, I'm good. Dick Sherman, I think his best football, gone. He's about to be on the decline. He's about to hit that Revis decline. And I don't want to be the team that pays him money to watch the decline take place. Redskins fan 21 says, did a mock draft and drafted Josh Jackson at 13. I would not be a fan of that. I do not love Josh Jackson. I don't. But we'll see. Vince Valencia says, Isaiah Crowell, yay or nay? I wouldn't have a problem with it. I want a younger back than Isaiah Crowell, but he's not old. I think he's about 25. Let me check. Yeah, he's 25, so he's not that old, and I really like him, and I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I don't think that I want to go young, preferably draft young, but I wouldn't have a problem with Isaiah Crowell. I like him a lot. Justin Reyes, at Just Reyes 18 says, if you had to choose a running back in the draft, who would it be? I already answered that question, but I'll answer it briefly again. It'd be between Sony Michel and Kerryon Johnson right now in the second round. I got to watch more of Geis. I loved his 2016 tape. 2017, not so much. So I got to go back and watch and see if Geis at 13 would make sense. I think we need a defensive player at 13, though, to be honest with you. So, Matthew123 says, a lot of people compare Ronald Jones to Jamal Charles. Same body type. I don't think he's as fast as Jamal Charles, but same body type. And I think his skill set probably does favor that of Jamal Charles. I wouldn't disagree with that. Chop Shop 2M says, Vita Vea, Allen, Kerrigan, Ioannidis, Murphy, Phil Taylor. I'm guessing that's his front seven there. Woodland Chrisfield says, which back has a chance of being this year's Kamara? A lot of people feel like it's Sony Michel. That's the comparison we're getting. But we don't know if Sony can catch the football. We knew Alvin Kamara could catch it coming out of Tennessee. We knew he could catch. I knew he was going to be dynamic. I don't know if we can say that about Sony Michel. We know Sony Michel has dynamic ability, but can he catch it consistently? I saw some inconsistencies at the combine. So we'll see. But Ronald Jones is another guy. The second could be Alvin Kamara type. I really like this running back draft class. I really do. You know, Rashad Penny could sneak up on some people and really be a really good back. So Vincent Cole says, Church's Chicken or Popeyes or KFC? First of all, I'm a vegan. But if you're asking me in my former eating life which one I would choose, it's really not up for discussion, man. I quit KFC a long time ago. Is that even really chicken? It's Popeyes, man. It's Popeyes. But anyway, Justin, the Redskin kid, says, do you think the 49ers and Raiders pick secondary help in the draft? Yes, especially the Raiders. And I think both of those teams. Really, I think the Niners and the Raiders are looking. They've been rumored with all of these corners. If you listen to all the rumors, both teams are interested in Tremaine Johnson. Both teams are interested in the Jets' old corner, the Patriots' old corner, Malcolm Butler. Those teams are going to end up with somebody in free agency. So I think they're going to get something in free agency, and then they may double dip in the draft. But I don't see them passing up a linebacker with the talents of Tremaine Edmonds or Roquan Smith in the draft. I think they're going to try to address corner so that they can address linebacker in the draft. Let's see. Matthew Lynch says, Denzel Ward at 13. I'm good, man. Like, I think we're okay at corner. Like, we need another corner. But as far as drafting a starter at 13, there are areas of our team where we need a starter. I don't think corner is one of them. I'd be more than comfortable with Norman on one side and Breland, or not Breland, Q-Bar, Dunny, or our third round pick last year, Fab Moreau. I'd be more than happy with one of those starting opposite, and also having Joshua Halsey in the slot. I'd be more than comfortable with that. So I wouldn't want to draft a guy like Denzel Ward at 13, even though I think he's got a chance to be really good. Vincent Cole says, hey, man, your podcast is so fire. Keep it up, man. I appreciate that. We got 3 minutes left. Joshua K says, I'm hoping we go Josh Jackson. Dude is a straight baller. Who's your favorite corner in this draft? Let me look at this list. I don't think I'm particularly in love with the corners. I'm actually more impressed with the safeties in this draft than I am the corners. But since you asked, my favorite corner right now is Denzel Ward. It's my favorite corner in this draft right now. Josh Jackson, I soured on him after the combine, but I'm probably being a little too harsh on him. He's still raw. Only been playing corner for 2 years. He's going to get better. I'm intrigued by some of these Alabama guys, especially Tony Brown. But nonetheless, Denzel Ward and Isaiah Oliver are my two favorite corners in this draft. Gregory Lightbody says, how would you feel about trading to get Vita Vea? I don't want to trade up in this draft. Only back. There isn't a player that I think the Redskins need to trade. The only thing trading up I would have been on board with was for a quarterback. I don't want to give up what it's going to take. Trading capital in the first round to move up, it's like a death sentence for future drafts. Like, I don't want to do that unless it's for a quarterback. And as you can see, we don't need a quarterback. So, I wouldn't want to trade up. John Niner said, who's the best corner in this draft? Denzel Ward, and I really like Isaiah Oliver as well. Hey, no doubt, Greg, man. Have a good one. DeMarco Murray in a Redskins uniform, that would be awesome to see him beat up on the Cowgirls. I'm good, man. I don't want to see it. Vince Valencia says, if we sign Richard Sherman for $30 million for 3 years, would you be a fan of that? No, I don't want Dick Sherman on this team. I don't want old and slow on both sides of the field. I think Josh Norman may have more in the tank, and he hasn't had a major injury like Dick Sherman has and is coming off of. I'm more than fine with Josh. I like Josh. I still think Josh has got a lot of good football left in him. Dick Sherman may ultimately have good football left in him. But he's coming off of a major injury, and he was getting beat deep, just like Josh is getting beat deep. I'm good. I don't want one of those on each side. Let the young boys play. Why are y'all so adverse? Don't let these shiny toys that come available. I've heard a lot of DeMarco Murray tonight. I've heard a lot of Josh Norman. Richard Sherman tonight. Don't let these shiny objects cloud your judgment, man. That's what the old Redskins would do. Go pay aging veterans to come here into their twilight years and steal money. I don't want to do that no more. And the one thing, I am not a fan of Bruce Allen. Don't get it twisted. But the one thing I know Bruce Allen won't allow to happen is for an old guy to come here and rape us and leave. That's the old administration. Bruce won't let that happen. Bruce would rather overpay a cheap young bum than to overpay an aging veteran. Now, you could argue both ways keep you mediocre. By going out and signing really mediocre players for little to no money or paying an aging veteran for too much money, both get you beat. But at least I know if we go the cheap route, We still got cap money in case Deshaun Jackson gets released like he did 4 years ago, and we had money to sign him. In case a Josh Norman situation arises where we have money, we can sign him. If something were to occur and the money needed to be spent, we got it. Wait a minute. Gregory. Hey, look, bro. I almost feel attacked. Come on, you're black. You gotta like fried chicken. You know what? I'm gonna answer these last two comments and then I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get ready for my live in the draft room live video, but I'm almost offended by that comment. You're black. You gotta like fried chicken. I remember Dave Chappelle saying, hey, man, he felt violated because he was eating chicken one time and they knew what he was going to order before he walked in. It's basically like black people are predisposed to liking chicken. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Anyway, let me knock these last two comments out and then I'm going to roll. Vincent Cole says, how about Arden Key? Are you okay with the Skins taking him maybe like in the second or third? Look, Arden Key, for as much off-the-field baggage that may come with him, he is not getting out of the first round. He's not. You can sit here and you can talk about the subpar season he had in 2017. He cut the weight. He was back in shape at the combine. Arden Key is one of the best pass rushers in this draft. He is not getting out of the first round. Somebody's going to take him. But if he was there in the second round, you bet your ass I would love my Redskins to take him in the second round. For sure. And Cruising says, you're a vegan? Yeah, man. I'm a vegan. I've talked about that on my Louie T Live program. And we can talk about that some more another time. But in any event, hey, go ahead, man. I cannot with y'all, man. Skull Candy TV says, how do you feel about Andrew Norwell? Yes, Greg. Vegans can. It's a very nutritious snack. Anyway, Andrew Norwell, I really like him a lot. He's top of the market guard in this free agency class. He's going to get a ton of money, and he's worth it. I think he's a really good player. He's durable. He came from out of nowhere. He was undrafted. He did it the right way. Love to see guys who have been making next to nothing ball out and earn a payday. And that's what Andrew Norwell has done. And he's going to definitely get his bread this offseason. Somebody's going to break him off. I really like Andrew Norwell. And he's a beast in the run game. And he's good in the pass game. So thank you for that. And thank you for you guys joining me tonight, man. This was fun, as it always is. Sorry for the problems the last couple of days. I got a lot of things to get straightened out with these streams, but in any event, I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. Remember, I'm a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins free agency right around the corner. We're going to talk running backs tonight on In the Draft Room Live. If you don't have anything on the docket, join me at 9 o'clock as we talk about the running back position in the 2018 NFL Draft. Also, check out the site louietnetwork.net if you haven't already done so. There is a Redskins forum on the site. Would love to hear from you guys. You can even start a thread of your own. Go to the site louietnetwork.net and go to Talking Skins and be a part of the conversation. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you make any purchases on Amazon, I am an Amazon affiliate. Go through my link. All of the links down below to Amazon. Click on any one of them and make your purchase. And you will be helping your man Louie T out. I appreciate you greatly. You can also click on any Amazon link on the site and it will serve the same purpose Help a brother out. If you're going to spend the $22 on Amazon, why not slide your man Louie T a couple bucks while doing so? You ain't hurting nobody. All right? And you helping your brother out over here. If you're going to spend $150 on Amazon, slide me a couple bucks, man. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to make the purchase, why not help me out in the process? So, in any event, I thank you guys for joining me on the program. Remember, hey, we changing the game over here, period. Want to see you guys at 9 for In the Draft Room live. I'm your man, Louie T. Deuces. See you next time.